Hey guys, BJ the Brave here, back with a little bit more Warpforge content. We have now got the Beast Snagga. All the reveals have been done. Doesn't mean we've seen all the cards, but I am joined by my Alliance teammate, Slither, and we're going to work through all that we know so far and kind of bring you our initial impressions and potentially rate the cards on our 1 to 5 system as well. So first of all, Slither, hey, how you doing, mate? Welcome back to the stream.
Hey, great to be here. Excited for the new expansion. Yeah, I can't wait to play some like these new Orc cards. I tried to force myself to play some Gordrang on ladder, and I can't make myself do it. I need the new cards.
Yeah, I'm angry. I'm angry with Gazgul after my tournament performance.
Yeah,
Kind of cost me really. Anyway,
wasn't my deck. Don't blame me, right?
yes, exactly. Yeah, we'll talk about that. What we will talk about is something that's just literally landed about an hour ago, which is information about the vault. Now they did kind of mention this, didn't they, right at the start, but we didn't have any details. So let's start here, and then we'll look at we look at all the cards that we've had so far, and then we can kind of give our initial kind of impression of the card, what we'd give it 1 to 5. So for anyone who's not done that before, 1 is kind of like an unplayable card. 2 is like a bad card, like it might have a nuanced use, but it's pretty bad. 3 is a situationally good card. It's kind of okay. 4 is a good card, the sort of card that most meta decks will consist of, and then 5 are those kind of like S tier busted meta-defining cards. But first of all, let's just jump into this, Slither. I don't know, have you had time to look at this much?
So I just glanced at it. I think I get the gist, but I've not studied it.
Okay, so let's see what it says. So, along with the expansion, they're going to be releasing essentially a new reward mechanism called the Vault. Right. So this new feature introduces time-limited additional reward system featuring exclusive themed rewards as well as other useful items. So I guess in the reinforcements they were kind of like time-limited rewards, weren't they, that you could buy and stuff, and then they disappeared at the end of the month. So similar kind of concept there. But it obviously sounds like it includes cosmetics, valuable in-game currencies, so that's like what crystals, blackstone, all that sort of stuff, as well as the actual expansion cards themselves. It's a fantastic way to bolster your collection by getting some extra goodies while playing the game. Alright, so what is the Vault? When you enter on the 3rd, you'll have access to the Vault from a seasonal content menu. So you can kind of see on this picture that you've got the kind of expansion window down here. That's similar to how the reinforcement worked. And then it says you've got Pass, which I imagine will be a bit like the campaign map. Then you've got Offers. We had that in reinforcements, didn't we? Like things you could kind of buy, almost like a special shop just for the expansion. And then you've got the missions, so we don't know what that looks like yet. And then you've got Vault. So it says that the Vault opens its doors with the event. During this period, players will be able to exchange tickets. What the hell are tickets? To enter the Vault and claim crystals, Blackstone booster packs, random cards, exclusive content. Each week the Vault will offer a refreshed set of special items along with a pool of great rewards that will remain consistent through the event's duration. I mean, they're using these very generic terms. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but I'm guessing that, like, when they say great rewards that will remain consistent, like if there's a card that you're trying to get or something like that, that's probably what falls under that bracket, isn't it? Stuff that is going to be there the whole month. Whereas it sounds like each week they're going to refresh special items. That's probably more like the cosmetic-y type stuff. That's a guess. So how it works, if you have a Vault ticket, do we even know how you get a Vault ticket? Is that through the Premium Pass?
I don't know. I don't think they've explicitly said. I'm guessing it'd be like the missions or I don't know something.
I'm not sure how you get a Vault ticket. I'll have to go back and check what was in maybe the web shop. We'll have a look after that in a minute.
Hopefully it's not like £5 per ticket or something.
Yeah, because it could be like a. You mean like a draft ticket kind of thing? How you get a draft ticket to go into a draft? It could be something like that, couldn't it?
Maybe.
I don't know though. Cause do you need 1 ticket for the whole month? It's weird, isn't it?
I think it probably says further down.
But it says if you have a vault ticket, you'll be able to delve into the vault and exchange it for a reward. Every time you get a reward in the vault, it's subject to some rules. So you've got repeatable rewards, which include expansion booster packs. I like those, by the way. So they're the booster packs where you get a guaranteed new card in there. All army booster packs, yeah. All army random cards of any rarity. And crystals and blackstones will be available through the event duration. These can be pulled multiple times during the event. Okay. This means that new cards can only be collected up to their maximum copies in the deck, and every time you get an exclusive cosmetic, you'll always get a different one. After every 10 times you delve into the vault without finding an exclusive item, you'll be guaranteed to find one the next time you open its doors. Okay. So a bit like, and then it's like, it says a counter does not reset. So that's a bit like legendary cards, isn't it? You know, like how it tells you how many packs you've opened, and if you get, if you go to, is it 30 packs, you're guaranteed a legendary, something like that.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah.
It sounds like a similar mechanic to me. I don't still really know what they mean by an exclusive item, but I guess we'll find out.
I think it's because you can get like crystal and blackstone and stuff. So if you did a vault 9 times and you just got like cards that were already in the game plus like blackstone, and you just wanted like the new Orc cards, it would like have to give you a new Orc card after the 10th time.
If you just keep getting shaft, then they actually give you something useful.
Yeah.
Alright, if you've collected all of a week's exclusive items, then you'll get repeatable rewards when you delve into the vault. Right, okay, so vault tickets can be obtained in many ways. They can be purchased with in-game currencies. Okay. There can be a reward for progressing in the Daily Skulls Challenge, up to 3 per day. As a reward for reaching new milestones in the Expansion Pass. Okay, so I guess if you've got a Premium Pass, you'll get to those more quickly. And included in other promotions and special offers. Alright. So then it's showing week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. So it kind of looks like there's a card, one of the new cards, or card backs. Is that right? I think they're all cards, aren't they? Because they've. Oh, that one's a card back.
The last one's a card back.
Yeah. So it looks like 3 of the 32 cards will actually be in the vault. Plus, you've got some pretty cool avatars. I particularly like that one there with the goggles on.
Yeah, there's a lot of cosmetics to go with it.
Yeah, tons of cosmetics. Okay, so we get, you know, it's going to be avatars. It's going to be. I feel like they've already kind of said what will be in there. What happens, and then at the end of it, unused tickets kind of get translated into crystals, a bit like what happens at the end of reinforcement. Cool. I guess it'll be like nice to have some other kind of form of like feeling like you're collecting something if you've been playing the game a long time. Obviously, if you're new to the game, then this will be even more exciting, I guess. What do you think?
Yeah, it sounds fun. I guess it's almost kind of like doing it like a loot box where like you progress through the missions and whatever, and you get like a little loot box that might have some new cards in. But if you're unlucky, you will eventually get some. I like the cosmetics are mixed in because I know with reinforcements, it's always like you spend all the currency on the cards, and then like afterwards you kind of regret not getting the cool cosmetics.
Yeah. Cool. Gives you, I think anything where you've got like just a different focus and like new ways of collecting stuff, it's always better than nothing, so should be fun. Should we have a look at the cards then? So in no particular order, this is, I think these some of the ones that revealed today. So if we go through and maybe like just chat about kind of like what we think about the card, where we see it fitting in, and kind of like maybe give our initial rating out of 5. Do you reckon? Alright, we've got the Thump Gun Beast Snagga. It's a 2-drop. It's got Tide 1, so obviously you can play 2 of these for 4 energy. And it's got Mob, Gain, Blast 1 this turn. What do you think to this?
Yeah, I think it looks okay. Probably a good include in your green horde decks. I wonder if maybe it's actually the best like Tide 1 2-drop because it has that potential to get like blast, and you can maybe like cheat some trades and stuff with it.
I kind of like the other one more. You know, the one with Stomp, which we're going to get onto.
Okay.
Yeah, because like I mean, Blast 1, yeah, it's okay. Don't know. It's not going to clear anything, is it? You know, like I always sort of think Blast 1's more cleaning
Nice to
up.
have.
Yeah, it's good at sort of. It's good at dealing with 3 health stuff, isn't it? Because like if you can ping something for 1, then your Warlord can finish something off. It's good at getting rid of shields. Good at dealing with stones and remnants and stuff. But I think, like you said, do you think we see this played outside of a Green Horde specific type of deck?
I'm not sure because with the 2-drops, normally it's like Stormboy that you put in if you were just running like one of the 2-drops. I do kind of like the range preference. You know, if you get blown up by deadly hunters from Dark Angel, at least these like trade with the bikes and stuff. But I don't think there's like a. The thing is, Stormboys can scale really well with the Stormboy knob and stuff like that. So I'm not sure. I think yeah, good in the Green Tide. You could. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like to like wait and see. I don't think it's like an insane card.
It's also the fact that like how they work with other copies, right? Because the problem is when it's range attack is that you want to attack with that, therefore you're not triggering mob. You know, mob relies on melee based units. So,
Actually, there is maybe an argument that that legendary. I was skipping ahead, but like there are some like Crump the Gits combos you can do with some of the new cards, and there could be a chance if this guy's just left. If like 1 is left, you can maybe stack it to like 7, 8 blast. If like if you do some like crazy combo afterwards.
Well, does it stack?
I
don't
know actually.
I don't read that as this stacks. I mean, if it stacks, this is way better. But I mean, I read this as it can only get blast 1. I don't think it can go up to like blast 2, blast 3.
But normally with mob, it's like you can trigger mob multiple times. I mean, the word like gain blast 1. So I mean, okay. I mean, you could read that as like each mob proc it gains 1 more blast.
Okay, right. Well, in that case, it's very different. Like I would say, if you can only gain blast 1, I would say this is like I'd give this a 2. I think it's a bad card. I wouldn't say unplayable because I think you'd still be able to run it in a kind of Green Horde type of list. But if that's right, if the blast is cumulative, and that can go up to like blast 6 or whatever, then I'd actually say it's a pretty good 2-drop. Yeah, I'd probably say it's like a 4 all of a sudden if that's true.
Okay.
Or at least a 3. At least a 3, situationally good. I think. Yeah. Maybe.
I mean, there's definitely ways you could slot it into some big like Crump the Gits combo or.
Yeah.
Imagine if you played like Rock Invasion, you got with Crump, and you like had one of these guys, and you could like try and like have this guy swing last and do like blast 6 or 7 to the Warlord.
Yeah. So that was a bit hard.
Explosive potential.
We need to know kind of how it works, I guess.
Yeah.
To be sure, but probably somewhere I don't know. This guy, I love the artwork on this. Weirdboy. It's an epic card. Unstable. I think it's got terrible stats for 5 energy, so it's obviously got to have a good ability, but it says at the end of your turn, deal 1 to 2 damage to a random enemy for each friendly troop in play. I do like this kind of a general mechanic where it's just at the end of the turn trigger something. We've had that in other card games. Yeah, I mean I feel like this has got a lot of potential, right? If we think about things like Unbridled and how that's used. In those sort of go wide decks, it feels like this is better than that. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's definitely better than Unbridled Khan, just because one with Unbridled is it's 4 energy and it doesn't get discounted by your Green Tide, whereas this guy goes down to 3 energy. So if you Green Tide and he's 7, you can play everything out plus this guy like a turn earlier than your Unbridled Carnage, and there's the threat of him like staying alive and potentially doing it all over again. But you can't, which doesn't happen with Unbridled Carnage. So I think, yeah, I don't think you put it in every deck, but in a Green Tide or some kind of Swarm deck, like I think would be very, very strong.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what we give that out of 5. Maybe because it's like you say, it doesn't go in every deck, but the ones it does go in, it's going to be a blooming game winner.
It's going to be insane. Yeah.
So maybe it's like a 4 overall or something.
Yeah, I don't know, like low 4 or 3.
Yeah.
I want to say, yeah.
I definitely think there's going to be some busted. I do think that there are going to be some go wide decks where like this is like a finisher, you know, and then they've got proper killie just to kind of rub it in, you know, and Warlock, all that stuff. God, Orkz are going to have some serious burn now. It's great. Though,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
great. It's great that Orkz are actually finally going to be the beatdown deck that they always should have been.
Yeah. I think this expanded. I think because there's so many cards added, I feel like a lot of archetypes are going to be viable in Orkz.
Yeah.
We'll get onto it. So
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. And we were talking about that with Ecclesiarch and Long Tim today. We were sort of saying that Orkz will feel now like... I think GSC have felt like they've had several different ways you can play them and play them well for a few months now. But that's more just down to really good design. Whereas I feel like Orkz are just going to have enough cards now, you know, to just have that variety where you can't play every card in every deck because there's too many good cards. So you have to start building out themes and ways that you want to win, which is
it's so much better. That's like the fun way of deck building. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Good stuff decks are like kind of boring to build. Like,
yeah, exactly. No, it's going to be a good time to play Orkz. All right, next up we got the Snakebite Grot, Tide 1 drop, stun troops attacked. So this isn't if you attack the Snakebite, you don't get stunned, do you? It's a bit like the Venom Throw from. Is that right?
Yeah, I think. Well, I've played the free drop that has this effect, and yeah, it's only on. This card has to attack something else to trigger the effect. You don't get. It's not like concussive.
No. So good with like Crump the Gates and. Yeah, I think it's cool. By the way, that it's a 1-drop. You know, again, if you want to have an Orc go wide type of build, and we've just talked about this previous card, you know, this card's going to want 1-drops, right? It's going to want things that can go wide quick. So I could see Snakebite being very good in that type of deck. And then also, it's probably worth showing the next card, because they kind of synergize, don't they? Which, like this guy here, says mob deploy a snakebite grot. So every time your warlord or any other troop attacks with melee, it will just automatically deploy one of these. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I think the legendary I'm gonna say is a 5. Like,
yeah,
this I know Raziel said it in this video, but yeah, this would come to kids. It's gonna be like the old Makari Infinite basically.
Yeah, that's super powerful, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he comes with talent as well, which is give +3 and +1 health to a friendly troop. For one energy, that's real good, especially on stomp units.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. The thing that it doesn't even need to live to get his value if he's done. If you do the combo with him, you've already you're in such a good spot.
Pretty good reveal that. Like 5 pretty good cards, right? I mean, like that one's okay, but I mean, yeah, I agree. I think Snagga is a 5. I think Weirdboy is probably a 4. What do we think to Snakebite Grot? What do we rate that on its own?
I'm not sure. The thing is, with the kind of swarm kind of decks, the nice thing with like Grots and you know, is they're tied 2, so you can play 3 of them out. This guy's only got tied 1, but obviously like they're a lot more threatening than regular Grots. Like just being able to stun anything is like really scary, and I don't know. It can maybe seem like a fast deck, like putting this out as a 2-drop and like you can't deal with it on the first turn, then
so
you can stun the Warlord.
And then you stun the Warlord, yeah, which is an anti-gym boss type of thing, isn't it? You know?
Oh yeah. If somehow like Gordrang still remains the best Orc Warlord, I'm gonna just like put 2 of these in.
Well, not just never mind Gordrang, the new one.
Oh, the new one as well. Yeah.
Both the new ones are like beat down big time. So I think like he's gonna be good in the mirror matches. I'd say I'd say on its own with none of the combos, it's probably a low 3 for me or a high 2. But obviously, once you start thinking about synergies, that's when this card just starts to get much better.
I think, yeah, I think I'll probably say a 3. I think there is a potential if you have like a really nice curve, you play this on turn 1 and something like scary on turn 2 and so on. Like just denying the Warlord attack for like that first turn can be could be quite a big deal in like a really fast deck.
Absolutely. All right, Beast Snagga Boy, 2-drop, tied 1, another 2-drop. I really like this card. I think this is I'm much more up on this card than the Blast one. Only because I just loved Stomp. I don't know. Did you ever play Runeterror?
Yeah, I played a lot of Runeterror. Yeah, it reminds you of Overwhelm, right?
Overwhelm, right? And in Magic it was Trample. But in Runeterror you had do you remember the Noxus and Freylord builds? Where you'd yeah, you basically just like freeze your opponent down, just hit them with Overwhelm units. And I liked that playstyle a lot, and I think this is going to lead to some really great like beatdown decks. Like one of the things you've always got in Warpforge is, do you trade or do you put damage on face? Yeah.
This guy does both.
Stomp does both, and that's a really cool addition to the game. And yeah, this guy does it. So you know you can play 2 of these. Obviously, synergizes really nicely in with things like Crump the Gates. It feels synergizes nicely with the Green Horde, which I feel like we'll be saying a lot with just about every card on this expansion. But also, just playing this out feels okay. You know, in the same way that playing out a Storm Boy feels okay. I feel like this does too, particularly in metas where like Chaos and Tyranids and Orkz are meta, because they're going to trade into the melee more often. So yeah, I think this card's like obviously not lighting the world on fire, but I think it's like a 3, like it's an okay card.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's just that I guess it has a lot of competition with like these like tied 1 2-drops.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it's just a case of which one you want to play. I guess all the 2-drops kind of have their upside, apart from the common one. So,
well, Gruk,
cool.
Gruk Horde's going to be insane now, right? Like you just
Oh,
play
God,
all the 2-drops and just draw them all, and then Green Horde.
Yeah, so that's five tied 1 2-drops you can put in your deck.
Yeah, and also don't forget, if Gruk draws this guy, he goes up to 4 melee. And then with Makari, that's 5. So you're playing 2 of these, they could potentially be doing, 10 damage. Just from the 2 dots. Wow.
You potentially could in Gaz as well, just because.
Yeah.
Yeah, you buff the melee, but also then that extra damage will like land on face probably.
And the Orc card that we currently have, the Tides card, the 3-drop that draws 2 cards, but it gives a +1 melee. So cards like this, if you make that card better, whereas the other one doesn't. The one with a 3 range attack.
Yeah.
So it's got kind of more synergy. I think it's interesting. I'm definitely going to test this card. I'm definitely going to test it. But let's have a look at the next one. We got the Monster Hunters Stratagem. Deploy a Beast Snagga boy, or 3 if your opponent controls a troop with 5 or more health. So basically for 4 energy you would play 1 Snagga Boy, which is terrible. Is that right?
Yeah, or you could play 3.
Yeah, 3.
Or you play 3 if they've got a beefy unit.
Yeah. A troop with 5 or more health. So that's going to be like a 4 energy opponent at least, right? I don't know how to evaluate this card. I initially think it's like bad because I feel like it's going to be uber situational, but actually it's quite good value if you do get 3 of them down for 4.
Yeah, it's good value. It's just that kind of classic Warpforge thing of like, if they've got something with 5 HP that you can't deal with, and if you just put units out into it, you're gonna get, they're just gonna get traded into, or then maybe one might get left. Also, it doesn't feel like you would save this for like Crump. Yeah, I'm not sure. It feels like you'd have to like work a lot to make it, to get the most value out of it, and I'm not sure if it'd be worth it or not.
So say you've been beating the opponent down, and he slaps out a Vanguard to try and survive. Then you play this with Crump, and basically you get to attack into the Vanguard, but because of the Stomp, you can finish your opponent off. So it's kind of got that. The thing about Stomp that's powerful, especially on something that's flank, is it's kind of got ability to. It's a bit like Fast. It can still deal damage to face. So that's pretty powerful. And also you've got the cards that we've already seen where, you know, at the end of your turn, do 1 to 2 damage for every unit that's on the board. So this is another kind of quick way of going wide. You know, on E9, do you play it with that? I don't know. There might be better things to do, though. You can just do
Yeah, I mean, you can play Gretchen Mob for free. That also gives you 3 units
Yeah.
out, and that's like 1 cheaper and like more consistent.
I feel like this is a bad card overall. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think I'd probably put this as a 2.
Yeah, me too. I think it's a 2. It's not unplayable, but I think it's not as good as some ones we've done.
I do like the card design of like, oh, to get the most value, you got to do like X, Y, Z. But I don't like. I like that aspect of it, but I don't think the card's very strong.
Good design, good card design. Just the overall power level's not that high. Yeah. All right, Weirdboy, kind of cool artwork. This one, 6-drop, 6 health, not great, but it does have a shield, which is great. Then it comes with a 4/6, so that's not bad. And it says unstable, so pretty good with the recent change to unstable. And then it has a talent. Now the thing with these sort of things is like, my first thought is you're never going to get to use the talent. You know, these types of cards, like, you're very rarely going to get to use it. Now if you do get to use it, the talent is 2 cost, and it says deal 1 damage to all units and give them +2 this turn.
That's got awesome artwork as well.
Yeah. It's a great finisher, and again, it's really great with stomp units, right? But it seems like it would take some hell of lining up. You know, your opponent knows what the what the talent is. What's he going to do is watch you have a really big wide board, and then let this thing live so that you can play this. So, I don't know.
Wasn't there like a card in Runeterra that was kind of like this, like deal 1 to... I don't know, it feels like out of the Freljord Noxus deck of like deal damage to everything and
I feel like this
damage.
is going to be the trap card of the expansion.
I don't know, I think shield is like better. Like if there was a 7 HP, then we'd call that like good stats. But like I feel like shield is worth more than 1.
Oh, for sure.
Like they need I mean like, if your flankers aren't doing 6, then it's actually quite awkward to clear. And even if they clear with 4/6, they're probably not like you're not gonna fall behind from the flank. No, I think it's okay.
But what deck do you play this in? I mean, it feels to me like it's, well, obviously it's either some sort of like go wide strategy or stomp strategy, right?
Yeah, I thought that's the thing. Yeah, if you're going wide, you probably want to play like the more of like the tide units instead of this.
Isn't it win more though? Like if you've gone wide, and your wide board survives, and then this guy survives, it's like you're so far ahead. Think about the Psyker from Astra Militarum, right? It only costs 5 energy. It's got 5 range, so only 1 point less, and it's got a shield. That thing can be played in like a Denkler deck, right? So it gets flank. To give this flank, you'd have to pay for, and it doesn't even benefit from the beast cards that give flank because it's infantry. So I don't know.
I don't know. It's just I feel just like looking at the card on its own, I wouldn't say it's a. I feel like the stats are fine and the talent's more of like a bonus. I don't know. I don't want to say it's a bad. I don't want to say it's a bad card. I think it's just going to be like, can you fit it in your deck, or like what would you cut?
Would you rather have this or a Venom Crawler?
Well, you can't if you play it Orkz.
Or a Squig Buggy.
Well, okay. To be fair, there is an argument that like there's not too many proactive 6 drops in.
Yeah.
In Orkz.
Yeah.
This is a proactive 6 drop other than like the legendary.
Yeah.
But
True. But there's a lot of good 6 drops in Orkz.
Yeah, because also you can play the free drops with Tide. I don't know. I'll probably say 3. I think I'd have to like see how it performs.
Okay. You're way more up on this than me. We shall see. So we've already seen that, and then we got the legendary card, Power of the War. Your warlord gains mob gain +1 this turn, and I do. Interesting what I said about the blast thing. I mean, I do read this as that's cumulative.
Yeah, I think this could have some pretty
This card,
pretty explosive potential, and
this card feels
it's
insane.
it's on free as well. Like playing something out on like a no tempo thing on free is never really like that bad. Um,
So how does this work? So your Warlord gains mob +1 this turn. So you play this on the Warlord, and then is it like permanently attached? Or is it
yeah, so
only
your
for one
warlord
turn?
would. No, I think it's like your warlord would like keep this mob ability for the rest of the game.
Yeah, bit like the what's the Gene Stealer one? That's 3.
Oh, yeah, I know which one you mean. Where you like hit stuff and it
Yeah,
discounts. Yeah. Oh, I think pretty strong. I mean,
very strong. Then
if you run it,
yeah.
it. I mean, actually, that legendary 4-drop, like, okay, you play this on free, you do whatever until E6, you do that combo, you do Crump plus the legendary 4-drop that spawns all the little grots. Your warlord might be like 10 attack by the end of it, with like not much your opponent can really do to stop that.
Yeah, and the new Warlord, the new legendary Warlord that just comes with Stomp, this thing's gonna be insane on that guy, because he's just gonna grow massive and just overwhelm, and you know he can clear and still deal damage to the Warlord. He's gonna be such a beatdown. It's gonna be unstoppable. You know, you try and play a Vanguard out, doesn't matter.
Yeah, just like punches through it and
Yeah,
stomps you.
yeah. Oh my lord. Yeah, this is. I think this has got some serious combo potential, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
with,
definitely.
with a lot of Warlords, but I do think the new Legendary is going to benefit the most, because Stomp is going to mean that there's no, you know, like with Gordrang or any of those, like you could say, oh, I could make him 17 power. Yeah, but if you've got to hit a Vanguard, then it doesn't matter if it's 17 or 6, does it? But if you've got Stomp, it
Yeah.
does. Matters a lot. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I can't wait to try this card.
I think.
I'm going to give this a. I'm going to give it a 4 though, not a 5, only because I still think that it is a combo piece. Like you know, it's going to be it's not going to be great on every Warlord, and you know, you're not. It's not just like press and then it works. It's like you are going to have to build the combo to get the big finish. But I think it's got a high power ceiling for sure.
Yeah, if you put this in your deck, you're gonna want some like big Crump the Gits combos in your deck to get like the proper value out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Right then. So next up we have got. So if we do, let's have a look on here. All right. So we've got the Beast Boss Morgrim. Wait, actually, I think if we go in the official Warpforge, we've got some better images. Reveals. Okay, so yeah. So let's start with this one, Thundering Stampede. I'm just gonna go ahead and call this a straight up 5 out of 5. Like,
Yeah,
this
this
is
very strong.
This looks to me like the broken card in the the broken card in the faction. Like, I just think it's gonna be very easy to break. It's gonna very consistently lead to wins. Yeah, this looks superb.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. I mean, people say Rowing Outriders is like too cheap on E4, and this this is here on E2. You can do it on the first turn.
The only question with this is like, how many beasts are there? How many are good beasts that you want to play? How many will you have in your hand, you know, at any one time? So obviously the answer to those questions could mean that this isn't quite as crazy, but Jesus, I mean,
I think maybe like as the expansion comes out, it's not going to be that strong, but when people start getting like a full beast collection, then it's going to be like insane.
Yeah, what a card! I can't wait to use that card. It's gonna be Oh my god, it's going to be so good. Alright, let's have a look. Kill rig. 8 drop. Unstable. Not good stats, I don't think. But it does have this rally effect that says deal 2 to 3 damage. Now, I don't think that rally effect's good enough, but the armor one is 4 to 6 damage, so... Question is... Do you think they're like overvaluing these anti-armor units? Because that still doesn't seem good to me. Like the fire prism doesn't either.
Yeah, I mean, at least 5 prisms like a clean 6. Like, I don't know. If your opponent plays like a venom crawler and you like play this and it rolls like a 4, you've done 3 damage to it. Like, you know.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah.
And for 8, it's gonna be hard to like combine this with like other like flank and damage stuff. Like, yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it to be very good. I'm also not a fan of like, I don't know. It's just like quite a big damage range. Like,
RNGesus.
Yeah. And especially if you're committing the 8 energy to it, that's like, that might be all or nothing. Whether this hits like a a 6 or a 4. Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I think I'm gonna give this a 1. I think this is the first unplayable card that we've seen. What do you think? Am I being too hard?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I mean, even like, I don't know, the enemy warlord has armor and you're just putting it out for a bit of chip. I don't know. I don't really see a good time to use this.
No, I mean, like in beginner, if you're new to the game, it'd be a fine beginner card, top end, and in draft maybe. But I don't see this. I think this is like unplayable at a competitive level.
Yeah, I think I'd agree. Yeah.
I'd even, because I'm even thinking like, I'm trying to imagine, what if you're in an armor meta? I still think this is not a playable card, even in an armor meta. To your point about the venom crawler, I just don't think it's that. I just don't think it's good at all.
Yeah, I mean, also with like you have all the other orc removal tools to deal with like high armor, like hard to kill units. Like I don't think you'd put this in.
Will of Gork costs 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
That doesn't care about armor.
Not a good card at all. All right. Now the Grot on a Bomb Squig. 10 out of 10 for originality on the name. I mean, I think this is friggin' awesome, this card. Like, it's a beast.
Yeah.
It might only cost less, like 2, and then it's like flank, and then the Bomb Squig comes out, and it's like, man, yeah, I think this is value.
Yeah, I think it's really good. I mean, a lot of orc decks do run Bomb Squigs, but they always feel like a little bit awkward, because obviously, like, you're putting it down and the opponent has a chance to deal with it, but this is like 1 energy more, it's coming in with the flank, killing something. Yeah, I don't know, I feel like that this you could easily replace Bomb Squigs in most of your decks with just this.
100%.
Yeah.
And with some of these Orc Warlords that can do, somewhere between 3 and 4 damage, that goes up 1 if you've got Makari. Just combine with that with this, you can suddenly start taking out pretty like mid-range sized units.
Yeah, I mean like Gaz with like a Makari, yeah, you could bump this up to 4 like without too much trouble.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think this is. Oh god. How does Grook's ability read? Is it if you draw an infantry?
No, I think all troops get their melee buffed. Because Snadswagons and Squig Buggies get the extra melee as well.
Just troops, right. So then Beast will benefit from that too.
Yeah.
Boy, yeah, I think Grook's going to be good, man. Yeah. I think this is... Again, I'd give this a 5. I think it's exceptional, this card.
Like, early flank in Orc is always like a little bit awkward because like some decks you really don't want to use your Warbikers early, but this guy's not a Warbiker. He's like meant to go in and flank and like trade.
It's a big gap in the Orc curve. Like I think this really fills a gap. I think you're going to see 2 of these in just about every Orc deck, to be honest.
Yeah.
Superb. Yeah, and then the change to unstable on the Bomb Squig. It's just. Yeah, this is a. I think this is as good as like a 3 energy card can get in terms of the amount of things this is doing and the value. It's bonkers.
Yeah, I think it's really good.
I think it'd be good for 4. Anyway. Ferocious Rage. So this is the Warlord ability, isn't it? So the new Warlord is more grim. This is the one that, if you've bought the premium pass, you'll start with this, I think. I think they said it's at the start of the track. And it says, when you deploy a beast, give +1 melee to your Warlord this turn. Just for deploying a beast, right? So if you deploy, 6 beasts, you've got a Alpha Warrior thing going on there. And then obviously the ability for 2 energy says your Warlord gains +1 and slay, draw a beast. So you can just keep refilling. What I like about this ability, by the way, I like to compare this with Belial. So Belial has this thing, doesn't he? Like, buff him, and then if you slay a unit, draw a troop. And you think, and you looked at that in a vacuum and went, oh my god, that's really good. That's really powerful. Problem is, Belial has like very anti-synergy with what his faction's trying to do. Like, you don't want to draw the card because you're scared that it's going to teleport. Whereas this, like, draw a beast, like, oh wow, so I might only have 8 beasts in the deck, and this will just thin my deck to give me exactly what I want. I think that's a really powerful ability. Really powerful.
I think it's very strong. I suppose the thing is it's only dealing 3, so there might be cases where it's a little bit awkward actually getting the slay off. Yeah, I guess that'd be my only like counter argument to it is that.
But don't forget, if you play a beast down, he gets bigger. So say you play a beast and then you do that, you're already up to 4, aren't you? If you play another beast, 5.
I'm curious if the regular bomb squig will count as a beast, because if like the standard bomb squig is a beast, then you could play Grot on a bomb, and you're playing down 1 beast, and then that's deploying another beast, so that would put you up to 4. And Squig Buggy would push you up to 3. We'll have to see if that's the case or not, but like that I think that could be it could be very strong.
Yeah. It's insane. It's yeah, I think this is a great starting Warlord for the beast synergies. If you want that beast synergy deck, it's gonna be good. Yeah. All right. Let's look at the next lot. What would you give that Warlord? Sorry, out of 5?
I'm not sure. I maybe not as up on him as you are. But maybe give him like a 3 or a 4. I'm not sure as like how explosive the passive would be. I mean, I'm trying to. You could put like down like a bunch of beasts and play like proper Killy or something, but. I mean, the cheapest beast, I'm guessing, is going to be like 2 or 3. I don't know, like how much you could stack it.
I think the draw a beast is a combination of draw a beast and so Grut can draw, but draw a beast is specific, so it's a thinning thing. Like it's kind of got a Primus Sapphire ability, right? Like draw what you want, but the other piece to it is you're not just paying 2 energy for the draw. You're actually also contributing to being able to deal with the board, right? Because you're getting a buff to the Warlord. So it's going to be interesting. It might feel a bit situational. I think you're right. I think like top of 3, low 4. I know Ecclesiarch and Tim are a lot higher on this Warlord, but I think prefer the Legendary.
I mean, the ceiling is high. It's just I don't know. I feel I think it might be a bit matchup dependent. Like into like AM, like yeah, you can play that every turn and like kill a guardsman and also draw a beast. But if the opponent's being a bit uninteractive or playing like flyers or stealth stuff, then like I don't know, you might not actually get to use it so much. You might wish you were playing like Zagstruck instead, or I could maybe that'd be my point. Yeah, I think it'll be a bit matchup dependent on how good it is.
All right. We've got an uncommon stratagem, gnarled and rugged. Only 1 energy, gives +2 health to a friendly unit. So that can be a Warlord as well. If it's a beast, give it +2 as well. Oh, that's a good point. Did the Warlords count as a beast? No, they just count as a Warlord, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I guess in a pinch you can give them the 2 HP if you're desperate. But
yeah. I feel like this is great for stomp units. This is what this is for, right?
yeah.
I feel like it's pretty good for 1 energy, actually. Quite like it. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean it's a nice effect for 1. I mean the problem with cards like this is these like really cheap stratagems that can like make you run out of cards if you like have a lot of this kind of stuff in. But I think maybe like a one-off in like a beast deck could be good.
Yeah, that's a good point. You need to, whatever deck this goes in, you've got to balance this type of thing out with. You've got to have excess value, haven't you, to be able to play them. It's why it works quite well in Azrael, right? You know, the 1-drop reliquary, because you've got so many like on-curve beefy solid units that having like a cheap one-off, it's like, oh, it's turn 5. Well, I can play my 4-drop and that 1, and that's great value.
Yeah.
But you're not going to run out of value because like all the way up to the 9 curve, you've got solid like proactive units. Yeah, I think that's a good point. But I actually think a lot of these cards don't work, but this one does look like it could. I'm definitely going to test this.
Yeah.
I think I'd give this a 3. I think a solid 3.
Yeah, I think I'd say 3.
You're kind of getting 4 thing, aren't you? So like, for 1 energy, we play what's the Necron spell that does 2 damage?
Extermination Protocol.
Yeah, and the additional synergy you're looking for is Artifice there. Well, this is doing like equivalent of 4 damage because it's like the 2 health, plus 2 health, but plus 2 damage. But then if you the bonus thing is the stomp for me. It's the overwhelm damage that can do.
I wonder if maybe you're not like putting a unit down and buffing it straight away. Just if you're constantly playing beasts and like eventually some of them are going to stick, then you can just like slap this on and make it do extra damage and like survive a trade or whatever.
Yeah, or the new flanker with stomp. I mean that I'm telling you, people are going to win so many games with flank and stomp. Like that is such a. It's like in chaos when you flank with a unit like the possessed, and then you kill something, and now your unit's damaged, and then you play Murderous Desires on it, and it hits face and wins.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's that synergy again. And people are going to cheat so many games with this. Yeah, I like this. I like this strat. I'm quite a fan of it. I don't know if I'd go as confident to say it's a 4, but I think it's a solid 3. Situationally good for me. You don't sound as convinced.
Oh, I'm not playing many decks with these kind of stratagems, so I'll trust your judgment on it.
All right, well this one is going to mess with our heads. I'm really keen to see what you think of this one. The Unleashed Trample Squig. Stomp. 4-drop, 4 melee, 5 health, 0 range. At the start of each turn, so that's, I believe, yours and your opponent's, attack a random non-flying enemy. What do you think? And it's a beast.
Oh, I didn't realize it would attack at the start of the opponent's turn. I was initially going to say this card is like complete trash, but like if it's getting an attack for free, that's a bit of a different story.
It's just like the Astra Militarum 1-drop, isn't it? That does the pink 1 damage ping at the start of each turn, includes your opponent's.
Oh, that's pretty good then, I think. Because then if your opponent has nothing down, then this is basically a Warbiker. While still having, 3 HP at the end. Oh, I think that's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to kill the opponent, this is like, it's like a proactive Warbiker in a way.
Is it an answer to stealth units? So in our turn, we can't attack the stealth unit, right, when we put this down. So we put this down, then his turn starts, he loses stealth, and now it attacks that, right?
Yeah, well, it says random, so I guess it could attack the Warlord.
Yeah.
Instead, because it just says random enemy, so it could be troops or Warlord. I mean, I guess, yeah, I mean, if they put a stealth unit down, I guess you could put this down and, like, you have a 50-50 shot of attacking it, and if not, you deal 4 to the enemy Warlord. Like, it's not bad. I mean, it's pretty good. Not in. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't put this in like a control shell, but in your like, beast tempo, kill your enemy through stomp. Like, yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty good. Like,
Yeah, because what people are going to say is they're going to say, oh, it's a bad card because it's got 0 range. It's like, listen, these stomp decks, these are going to be like the Noxus decks from. These are going to be. They're not going to care. We've already done the damage. It's just about constantly chipping away. So yeah, you're going to take
yeah,
3, but so what?
yeah. I mean, the fact it's like, it's doing its thing, and your opponent doesn't really have a say in it, other than putting down vanguards preemptively. Like, yeah, no, I think it's really good.
And again, you can put him next to Makari. I mean, one thing we haven't said yet, so let's just say this for the record. Like, Makari has got so much better, like he needed it with this expansion. Because the amount of high-rate thing melee attack, and then the fact that Stomp, giving you that overwhelm, and Makari buff into that as well. So Makari's just, like, insane now. Yeah, so you just stick this guy next to Makari and pass.
But also, because you're dealing the 4 damage, but then they still have. It's not like originally I thought like, oh, because they're just gonna kill it on their turn, so it's not gonna do anything. But like, it's already done its job, and they still need to like spend a little bit of energy to finish it off. So I don't know. Yeah, I think it's really good. Not every deck, but I think it's really good.
And it's another finisher. Because look, first of all, if you think about the end game, it's not going to cost 4 because you're already going to discounted it. And then so you can imagine the end of the game. You go Warbiker, Makari. Attack with a Warbiker, then you stick this guy next to Makari, then you press pass. He's got no board, so this guy hits the Warlord for 5. GG.
Yeah. Well, he's like a proactive. He's like a Warbiker, but you can play him on 4, and he'll still like be applying a little bit of pressure, and like when you just play Warbiker out early.
Yeah. Or death from above, right? You pay a 4 energy for death from above. It's not a great card, but people play it because it's a burn card that can win you the game. So I think it'll be this is not a board building card. It's not a card that goes in a board building deck. But the clue is Stomp, right? This is meant to be a burn card. It's meant to keep putting damage on. I think it's better than people initially think.
Yeah, I mean, just you telling me, like, reading the text out to me and explaining that how it works, like, yeah, that's definitely. Maybe do a 180 on what I think of the card. Yeah, I think it's really strong.
The fact that it says non-flying enemy as well takes out some of the RNG, right? Like, you can actually predict if your opponent's got flyers. Like, you can actually just ignore, like, play around them in that sense.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's not gonna like suicide itself into into a flyer and hit it for like 0 ranged.
Yeah, I wonder if they'd still have that wording on if it did have like 1 range attack or something. I don't know. Anyway, it's an interesting card, isn't it? It's different. It's a new mechanic, really.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Okay, the Runt Herd, 3-drop, reminds me of the Icon Bearer from GSC. It says mob, create a random beast in your hand that costs 5 or less. Lower its cost by 1. Is this another 5 out of 5 card?
Potentially, like, I mean, this mob is really strong and it's so good. Like, just getting 1 off is still really good. I guess compared to like GSC, it's gonna be hard to like guarantee getting more than like 1. You can't like put a stealther down beforehand or like invulnerable it like GSC can. But I mean, if you just play this down on 3, you get your 1 beast. They have to clear it back. Like, it's done its job, and.
Yeah.
But there's also the potential for it to do more later. But yeah, strong card.
I think it's a nice combo with the other cheap flanker that we talked about earlier. The 3-drop, which will only cost 2 because it's a beast and you're going to discount it. So it's like, like a E5 kind of like playing this with that and suddenly getting 2 discounted beasts in your hand. It's like value.
Yeah, and if you're doing like a fast burn deck, then this you could maybe not play this on E3, but like once you've got the board, you can put this down and just like give yourself some refill. Yeah, I think another strong card. Yeah.
It's at least a 4. It might be a 5.
I'm curious. It'd be interesting to like look at all the beasts and see which ones this could pull. I mean, if most of the beasts are going to be the new cards, then most of them will be pretty strong, I imagine.
Well, that
Um,
flanker. Just think about that 3E flanker. That's under 5, isn't it? You know, imagine that. Imagine just getting one
yeah,
of those. I'd be so happy to get one of those from this.
and because it'd be two, yeah, you could combo it with like a warlord talent or something.
And also, have you got do you have unlimited synergy with potentially with what's it called?
Oh, what the two drop thing that discounts.
The no, not the 2 drop discounts. The 4 drop. The Green Horde.
Oh,
Or does the Green Horde only reduce infantry? Might not reduce beasts.
No, I think it's all troops. It's just I don't think most of the beasts don't have like tide and stuff on, so there wouldn't be like too much synergy that way.
Well, look, what I'm thinking is that flanker, right? Because that flanker's 3, so you create it, it'll go in your hand for 0. It flanks. It creates another one for 0. You just keep going, wouldn't it?
Oh, oh, okay. So like you could in theory infinite it if you kept high rolling
Yeah.
the grot on a bomb squig.
Depends how many beasts we've got that are under 5, doesn't it? As to how likely that sort
Yeah,
of thing is. Yeah, it's a strong card anyway, isn't it? This very strong.
yeah.
And then we got the legendary beast boss on a Squigosaur. These names. A 6-drop, 7 energy. 7 health, always good. 7 melee, 5 range. I really like the stats on this thing. It's got stomp. It says friendly beasts cost 2 less and have slay, gain bloodthirst this turn. Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Value time.
Yeah. I think maybe it's a bit more of like a late game. Like, I don't think you play him out dead on 6 unless you've already got a lot of stuff discounted.
Yeah, it's a combo piece, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of stuff you like on E9. You could play this guy with the 5-cost flanker, or E7 with the. Yeah, I think there's some good combos you could do. With the card. I mean, if you're giving a stomp unit Bloodthirst, that's a lot of potential to do even more damage to the enemy.
So you
I
think
wonder if
so you think more about like if there's already beasts on the board, then you drop this guy and just use him mainly for the Slayer thing. Is that what you mean?
Oh, I thought you mean you could use him like that. I meant like if you play him on, let's say like E9, you play this guy down for 6, and you're like 5-cost. There's a 5-cost flanker that has stomp.
Yeah.
So that guy can come. Oh wait, he can't come down because he's got a special thing. But well, something with like stomp and flank, then it kills one thing and then it gets blood first. You yeah, I mean a lot of potential to like do a lot of burst damage to the enemy with like this comboed with something else.
Could it be a bit awkward, this card? Because obviously it's got beefy stats, but it doesn't actually do anything on the turn you play it often, right? Unless, like, if you've already got beasts on the board, then you can give them Bloodthirst. I think that might actually end up being one of the more powerful things. Almost seeing it like the Tyrannid card, like in a beast deck. You know the Ravenous Hunter.
Oh yeah, yeah. Maybe that's how the card will be used then. Like if you're already ahead on board, you can put this guy down as a finisher, and then if you're not, you can save him for like late game combo stuff where you can really like make use of the discount. So
I mean, you can, because of his stats, you could just simply play him out vanilla on 6 on curve, and he's a decent statted unit. He'd be fine, but you wouldn't be getting like, it'd be nothing special, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like you look at this card and he looks really sexy and awesome at first, but I think when you actually think through cost 2 less and have bit slay, gain bloodthirst this turn. I mean, he's got good synergy with that 3-drop, hasn't he? Because even if that 3-drop hasn't been discounted, now it only costs 1. So on E7 you could play this and that. But it already had...
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe that's the other thing is if you're discounting stuff a lot and you're getting like multiple things down to like 2 or 3, you could have a like that almost be like a combo style thing where you're like banking a lot of you're like discounting a lot of stuff and then you're like pulling off some like crazy combo on like E7 or E8 maybe. I'm not sure. I think we'll have to see. It definitely I can see this card being really strong in certain decks for sure.
Do you think there's a particular Warlord you're going to see, Warlord or Warlords, you're going to see him in more than?
Well, yeah, one of the Beast too, I imagine.
the new Beast one, yeah, of course,
Yeah.
yeah. Just because you're going to need to be able to draw the Beast to hand, aren't you? So probably this guy goes well with the Epic one, doesn't he? Yeah. Okay. We've done all of those ones. So then we had Creeds. So Knob on a Smasher Squig. 5 drop, 5 health, 1 armor. It's okay. 5 range. It's got Stomp. So it's 5. So it's one of the ones that can be drawn from the 3 drop, the Squig Herder.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can get this one. So it says armor 1, Stomp, Concussive. Other friendly beasts have +1/+1.
I think this card's very obnoxious. I mean, like, there's not that many concussive units around, and a lot of them are really awkward. Like the GSC, like ambushes, and I mean, AM can like buff a card of concussive. Just like concussive on like a pretty well-statted unit. I don't know. It's like going to be very awkward to deal with. I mean,
I love this. I love this.
the enemy warlord's not going to want to touch it.
I can't wait to play Orkz, man. I can't wait to play Orkz. It's going to be so fun.
Even if they send like a high range damage flanker in, it's going to be stunned anyway, so they're not necessarily gotten too much tempo from it.
That's what I love about concussive, right? Because in Warpforge, because you have the 2 stats, if you just put something out proactive, you're vulnerable, right? Because your opponent gets to choose which stat to attack, and they're always going to target your weak one. But concussive just goes, okay, well, whichever one you hit, you're going to end up stunned.
Yeah.
So I really like it as an ability. I think it's really powerful.
Yeah, I think it's really strong. I think
Good card, isn't it?
I think good card. Maybe it's just concussive on like an early well-statted unit. I don't know. It's like I think that's gonna be like a really, really annoying unit to deal with.
And it's also going to be a real card in these go wide builds that we think will be doable now. These grot builds, you know, just as a different player, more just a case of, you know, you put them down, you play this guy down, give everything +1. You know,
yeah.
You're developing the board and you're buffing your things. I think that's going to be really powerful. And then you think Makari, and then you think maybe you start playing things like Tides, or if you've done like Gruk because you want the go wide thing. I think this guy's going to be very good in Gruk decks, actually. Yeah.
Well, I think it's only friendly beast, right? It's not going to affect the infantry and stuff.
Ah, yeah, sure, yeah. That's a very good point. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's only beast, so it's not as good then, is it?
Yeah, I don't think many of the beasts have Tide. So, but yeah, I mean, still think like a really solid unit. I mean, you don't even really have to be a beast deck to run this. I don't think. I think the stats and concussive alone are really strong, and the beast buffing is almost like a nice bonus.
Yeah, and again, that 5-drop slot was a weak. I think a bit. You know, the Orkz were a little bit weaker, certainly in terms of anything proactive that you'd play. So,
yeah,
nice card. Yeah, looking forward to trying that.
Oh yeah, baby, here he is.
The gargantuan squig off. 10 drop, my friend, 10 drop. 10 melee with stomp. Oh yes, if you get to swing with this thing. 13 health, rally, stun an enemy and adjacent units. Mob, deal 1 damage to all enemies. I like the card design on this one, man.
I love this card. It's like, it does... I mean, we talked about it a little bit already, but like... I don't know, it's like a 10 drop, but, you know, it's doing something. And it can either like win you the game by just like being a huge unit, and you've got the mob as well. But it also helps you helps stop you losing the game as well. Because if you're on like 3 HP and Gordrang's ready to like punch you in the face, like, well, he's stunned. Like,
what a swing turn that is. Your opponent's thinking, I'm just gonna hit my Warlord and win, and then you just drop this, and they're like, oh. Not only can I not attack, but oh my god, this monster's gonna hit me back next turn.
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
God, it's so.
I think it might be the best. Oh, it might be the best at 10 drop. I think it's tied with the repulsor, but like this effect is just so strong.
I mean, it's not as good as the Deathwing Knight, right, from Dark Angels, because the Deathwing Knight is like this is like almost 2 turns slower than that as well, right? Because the Deathwing Knight is just like so impactful. Like the game can end on the turn that the Deathwing Knight comes down, whereas this guy, the game will end with the next turn. Yeah, I mean, unless you play it with flank. I mean,
E12, it's got 10 melee attack with Stomp. I mean, you could just you could always use it like that as well.
Well, there's also there's also a lot of interesting things you could do, right? So, okay, so put yourself in the mindset of Primus Sapphire, yeah? Look at the GSC decks. The powerful GSC decks are the ones that have abused, and Grook used to do it to a lesser degree, but the ones that abuse the choice of what you draw. So what if you have a deck with only 2 beasts in?
Oh, what, and you draw...
And you've got the Warlord that says draw a beast.
That's a good point. Well, I mean, you and me were talking about doing like a Squigger for like late game control thing, and you could just ramp this down to like 7 or to 9 or 8.
Yeah, which you can.
Crazy.
That'd
be so strong.
So and then what you do? So imagine a deck where you've got the guy who draws beasts, and you've only got Squig-offs. Now you might expand that to like 4 beasts or something. There might be some other units you want to draw, but still, in other words, by E10 you're always going to draw it, right? Then you play the card that we haven't got to yet, the one I revealed, where you do 2 damage, and it just says the next beast that you deploy has flank. All of a sudden, this bad boy is going to have flank, because this is the only beast that you're going to play in the game. Doesn't matter if it's 6 turns later, he's going to have flank.
Yeah. I think it's crazy, like, just as a 10 drop, it's still really good. But then there's also all this extra little bonus stuff you could do. You give it flank, cheat it out a little bit early. Like, I think this card's really good. I think it's probably the best 10 drop.
I'm totally doing a build.
Quite a bit.
I am going to build a deck that is just completely built around this card. Like, just everything's geared up to like cheesing it out.
With the other like 10 drops, like, often you're trying to like find the right turn to play it, and sometimes it's not appropriate to play out your 10 drop, even though you're on E10. I mean, if you're stunning through units, like, unless it's like a super wide board, like, I think you're always going to be able to play this guy in E10 and like save yourself.
What a fun card, man! What a fun card this is going to be.
Yeah, this card's awesome.
I want more of this stuff in the game.
Yeah, well, when you compare it to some like the really crap 10 drops, like they're like.
Oh, I think I lost you, dude.
Like, you play it and die. Oh, I was saying if you can compare this to the current 10 drop in Orkz the Stomper, which like comes down and does nothing.
Yeah.
This is like the same big stats that's spreading to end the game, but it just has so much impact.
I feel like they're learning a little bit. I think they're slowly getting there with these bigger units.
Yeah.
I really like where the power level is with this. I think it's a really well designed card. 10 is still very late. I think what the trap people will have with this card is they'll go, oh yeah, stick it in a stomp deck, and it's like, no, I don't think this. I mean, it could go in a stomp deck that's a more mid-range later stomp deck, but I think a lot of the meta stomp decks are going to have won the game long before this thing's ever going to see play. So it's more of a control deck finisher, isn't it? Wincon.
Yeah, which is great because like the current like 10 drop finisher, I guess, is like Rock Invasion, but that can come on and do nothing if you're unlucky. Whereas this, is coming down and it's doing something.
Oh man. Gasgul Fatigue. Double Squig-off, yes, baby.
Yes, yeah, that's what I'm.
Let's go.
Well, I might, depending on how much of the G cards I can get. I've been trying to climb with that in the last like 3 days of the season.
Yeah, it depends where
It'll
this
save me
depends
from
where it
having
is.
to play the other Orc decks.
Oh man, this is like, if this doesn't excite you about the game, I don't know what does. Like, this is super fun, man. This is just getting.
Yeah.
I just want to play this card right now. I just
Yeah.
want to play this card. This is fun. All right, let's. What would you give it out of 5? I mean,
So I don't actually think it's a 5. I think it's a pretty good card. I think it's like it's a good 4. I think.
I think I'd give it 4. Yeah.
Definitely, you don't put it in every deck, but like if it's in your deck, it's gonna do work if you can make it to E10, which Orcs can do. Like.
Yeah, like it. All right, Pain Boss, 7 drop, 7 health, 8/5. The rally says deploy a random friendly beast that died this game. Wow. So back to our point that we just made a minute ago, where you create the Sapphire style only draw beasts. You've only got 2 beasts. One of them's your squig off. And then you play this guy. You talk about late game control and bring back the squig off.
Yeah, they hard remove the first squig off, and then you bring it down plus the main boss to turn after them.
Holy shit! That is. Do you know what?
I did think about. Yeah, I did think about that combo at the start. The thing is, you'd be cutting yourself off from basically playing all the other beasts, and it's a question of that: is that worth it?
That epic war boss, you know, could make a really good control deck, because
maybe.
Yeah, because I don't know though. Cause
my only worry with this pain boss is that you know, I was saying like it might be a big deal whether bomb squig is a beast or not, because you don't want to play this guy and like get a bomb squig. That's going to be a bit of a low roll. So I think if you're running this guy, you may have to cut, depending on how things are worded, you may have to cut a squig buggy if you want to like get the max value, which is a big ask because that card's so good. It's like the best 6-drop flanker at the moment. So if the bomb squig does count as a beast, if you want to get like
I think it does.
really good value.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. If it does, then if you want to get like max value, you're gonna have to go without squig buggy, which I think is cool. I like that. There's a choice there.
Yeah. The value's so good from this guy, though. I mean, God, people talk about Imperial Guard guy, but this guy's like even just think like the 5-drop guy with concussive. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a beast, isn't it? You could just get that guy back with this. I mean, it's pretty powerful.
It's really strong. My question is like, yeah, like, are you willing to give up squig buggy to play pain boss?
Well, even if this said deploy a squig, would you play it for 7? I think it's still good. It's almost like I mean,
it's okay. Yeah, I mean it's not bad, but obviously you're not getting the really like sexy value if you just get like a bomb squig out of it. Yeah. It's not a gargantuan squig off, you know.
No, oh man, that's gonna be the dream, isn't it? That's got to be like a pinned YouTube shot, isn't it? The day that you get a squig off of a pain boss. The day of ascension approaches.
Or you can even combo with like Crump or something as well. Like you play the squig off at E10 and then at E11 you play this with Crump and like I don't know, Gaz's Warlord talent and just kill him anyway.
Man, this guy had some beefy. What's this one then? The Dock Tools. Oh, it's also got a talent as well. Oh my lord! Give +2 health to all friendly units. If you control a beast, heal 40 or Warlord. I mean, wow. So it's basically Arda's Nails because it's unit, so that's your Warlord. And then if you control a beast 4, so it'll give +6.
Yeah.
That is so goddamn good. So you've got to kill this guy.
Yeah, and if he spawned a really scary beast with him as well, you might be
what a card
in a difficult position.
Creed had some frigging good cards, man. Oh, we missed one. The Hunter Rig. We didn't do this one, did we?
No, we didn't. But this card looks really cool as well.
Choose a troop in the enemy hand and deploy it. Oh, yes. So it pulls the card out of your opponent's hand. So I love This is such an interesting game design, isn't it? Right, because it's not like a great tempo card. It's a great value card, right? Like, and also it really disrupts, doesn't it? So you can see three cards because it says choose. So it'll show you three cards, right? And then you'll get to pick one. And so you're playing Dark Angels, right? And then so you just go, oh, I'll pick his Black Knight, you know, and then because he wants to use his Black Knight as it's an anti-flanker unit. That's
Yeah.
how I see it. It's an anti-flanker unit, right?
You could also
Does it?
punch like Makari because he has stomp on. So if you like punch a
Yeah,
Makari, you do it
yeah, and do the
seven to
Overwatch.
face.
Oh my god, yes, yes. Oh my god, yes. Of course.
Yeah.
Oh god,
So when
so
you
it's
get
fast, isn't it?
really annoyed, yeah.
This thing's got fast. I'm realizing.
So
In
when
the
you
right
get really
situation.
annoyed, your like orc opponent's got Makari turn one, you'll be like sitting on this and be like, okay, don't worry, my time's coming. Like,
What happens if it's like a Gene Stealer then? Will it still attack it even though the Gene Stealer gets played into stealth?
um,
Or a Biophagus or something?
I'm not sure. I mean, I assume it's still. I assume it still attacks. Um, I mean, you can't normally attack cards in the Warlord in your enemy's hand, so I don't see why stealth should be the special exception.
This is so
Um,
much fun, man. This some really. I'm so impressed with like the card design in here. Like,
yeah.
I'm not talking about. I'm not commenting on power level because there is a chance that this expansion is like really OP.
Mm.
I'm just talking about like the the interesting card design. Do you know what I mean? The interesting mechanics. Like this is a totally new mechanic in this game.
Yeah. Hey, also, it's a little bit of like anti-combo as well. Like,
Yeah.
imagine you're playing into like Gruk, Green Horde, and he's not played the Green Horde yet, and you manage to like pick off Orc Nob out of his hand,
Yeah.
and now he's green tied in that flank. I don't know. I feel like yeah, there's like a lot of cool stuff you can do with this card.
It's
Like,
a disruptive play, isn't it? It's an anti. It'll. It's quite good as well because actually it would work well in control decks because you can kind of like
yeah, you can like pull cards out of your
you
enemy's
beat his
hand.
control tools, don't you? But it's also really good in an aggro deck because you can just basically drop this guy down. This guy's going to be the finisher in another finisher in a stomp deck. Your point about
Yeah.
getting Makari out and then just basically going, oh, 7 damage to face, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, is Makari 2 health or 1? It's 2 health, isn't it?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, 2
So
health. My
6
bad.
damage
Yeah,
to
2
face.
6. Yeah, it's still pretty good.
Man, it's so good.
I'm trying to think, does anyone run? Oh, I guess if it was GSC, you could pull the Gene Stealer Familiar. That's when they got 1 HP. um,
I
and
love
then you
it.
could do 7.
It's so themed as well, isn't it? It's a hunter rig. You know what I mean? Like, just like
Oh yeah, and he's like
go,
harpooning the
go
cards out of
fishing.
your enemy's
Yeah,
hand to
yeah.
like kill him.
It's cool, man. Oh man.
Yeah, do you think you? I mean, it's an interesting point because it's a finisher, and it's also like a control tool. Like, do you think you could just put this in every deck? Is it that kind of power level?
I don't think you'd put it in a. I think the deck you wouldn't put it in is like a board building tempo deck. Because you're not necessarily gaining much tempo with this, right? Like for 7 energy, it's only got 7 health. So as soon as you trade with something, there's not going to be much of anything left, right?
Yeah.
So you've got to think like, I don't know. I do think I don't know. It's hard to evaluate how good this card's going to be, but it seems to me like this could be a really powerful card.
Because there is also there is a potential like you know, say it's like Asmodai on his last 3 cards, and like his only troop is a repulsor, and you look into his hand and you see the repulsor, and you don't have it. Your only choice is to pull the repulsor out and trade into it and die.
Yeah.
So there is a chance that there might be a bit of a timing element. You might want to play this like if your opponent's not got many cards left, you might not even want to play it out just in case they've got like a 10 drop or something, you know. Something crazy that you don't want them to like pull out of the hand for free.
But it doesn't. Do you see my point about it? Doesn't help you with the board building thing? Because generally, if it's E7 and you play a card like just with these stats, the idea is you're 7 health ahead, right? Because you've got this unit now that's like 7 health, 5/8. The opponent's got to react to deal with it. you're putting, even though it'll feel good because you're going to put obviously a unit on the board of theirs that you're going to trade and get a favourable trade on. The point is that you put one of their units on the board. They didn't have to pay for that. So do you see what I mean? You've
Yeah.
even though you've got a favourable trade, you've still created some tempo for them as well, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think I see what you mean. I think, would you say this card, so in like, it's a good burn card, and it's kind of like a control tool in terms of controlling your enemy's hand, but yeah, and it's like straight board building,
It's not
regular
a board
tempo.
building thing, is it?
Yeah, I guess you could still run it as a kind of awkward finisher in like a tempo deck, but yeah, okay, yeah. So probably a good card then, just maybe not in every deck, which you know is good.
I think I'd give this right now. I'd probably say I'd give this a 4 out of 5, but it's one of the ones I feel least certain about. But I am hella excited to try this. I can't wait to try this. Oh
I suppose
my
if it
God.
becomes really popular, there is the chance your opponent could like kind of play around it and like if they like make a point to really play out like every single unit apart from their like big stuff, then there's like maybe a little bit of like counterplay. But yeah, I'd definitely say 4. If not, I don't know. It's not like broken, super broken OP. So maybe not quite a 5, but yeah, definitely a 4. 10 out of 10 for creativity as well.
Oh yeah, I'm so hyped, man. So hyped for these cards. We did this one, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. So that was all creeds. And then the last ones then were mine. Did we do Tim's? Yeah, we did Tim's, didn't we? That were those ones.
Yeah.
So my ones, we had obviously the War Boss, the Legendary War Boss, which is Mozrog, Scragbad. Ecclesiarch and Tim seem to think that the Epic Warlord's better than this guy. But I don't know. I mean, I have a feeling, and we'll have to see how it plays out, but I think Stomp is going to be a very powerful ability.
Yeah.
I think Stomp might mean that we have a true aggro deck in this game, but it's just an idea at the minute.
I mean, on paper, this guy is like better Gordrang in a way because you start with more HP and you're like effectively doing the same damage to the enemy warlord, but you can also like push the stomp damage into them as well.
Because you can distract Gordrang, can't you? Like, over here, you've got to take this out, and he goes, and he attacks it, but then it's like, well, your warlord didn't get hurt. Whereas this guy's going, alright, I'll attack it, and your warlord's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
I'm super keen. Obviously, one of the things about this guy is he doesn't draw cards. So that's one thing. Any time you've got a warlord that doesn't draw cards, you've got to think about curve from you. You've got to think about, do you run draw cards specifically, and then what type of deck is that? So I don't know.
I was thinking, matchup-wise, this guy's gonna be quite strong into certain things like Junith, like
sisters.
It's quite I mean, Junith in particular, it's quite awkward to deal with the sister with like just your talent. Normally you have to pick one or the other, but this guy you can ping. You can either ping Junith and kill the sister, or you can ping the sister and do stomp damage into Junith.
It's going to be a nightmare for disrupting prayers, isn't it? Yeah, that's a real.
Yeah, you also can you can kill a librarian with just talent as well because it's a ping.
Yeah.
So I think it's a very, very strong talent.
I think it's like not that sexy, and that's what people might be underrating. Like, I actually think like it's very practical. It's very practical.
Yeah. Maybe to counter your point about the card, the no card draw. Like, I think one thing is when your talent's just really good, that can kind of compensate for card drawing a bit if you're happy to just keep using your talent like every turn.
What's turn 1 do though? Is it just like?
You smack for 4.
Yeah, it's not too bad, is it? It's a small beat down, and if that's, I think you've got to build around Stomp, haven't you, with this guy? You've got to be looking for that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to use this guy. I'm honestly, I can't bloody wait. I literally think there's probably like 10 decks I want to build from this with Orkz now. It's just so much fun.
I just think he's like a really good controller. I mean, even like Gordrang's really good at killing like enemy units, but this guy like 3 HP shielded units he can kill, 3 HP flying units he can still kill, 4 HP grounded units he can kill. I don't know. This guy, he can just deal with like most early game units with his talent alone, while still getting chip damage into the enemy warlord. Like I think this.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only
even late game,
downs-
even late game, you got stuff like just using it to ping a shield off of a Ezreal or whatever. You know, like pinging, just using that to ping, and then warlord could attack something else, like you know, in sequence with your own flankers. You know, that kind of thing. Like you've got the flanker ready to take out Azrael, but you need to get rid of the shield first. So you use the ping, he takes that out, and then you attack to get rid of the smaller unit or something like that. So yeah. You're gonna basically be able to deal with the board in almost whatever the situation is. I think that's what gives this guy a real edge. And then the 40 health's nothing to sneeze at as well.
I mean, I even wonder if you could run this guy as more control heavy, just purely because of like how easy it is to deal with early units. Like, I don't. Outside of stealth, I think it's going to be really hard to develop a board into this guy early on.
Yeah.
You just like, yeah, you mean you can just kill everything like in the first few turns.
So bad control might even be a thing, like giving this guy armor and healing him up, and just like, oh my god. Yeah, because you're gonna be attacking a lot with him. But yeah, mate, it's interesting.
I think the floor is very high. With if we're comparing the two warlords, like the floor on Scragbad is very, very high. It's just that talent is doing a lot for you, whereas the Epic Warlord talent's still pretty good, but maybe we can't always get the slay off, but there's like turns later on maybe where you can like ramp his melee up super high. But like there's like I don't know, like turns like 1 to 3, like I don't think you can go wrong with that talent.
No. Beast Snagga, love the artwork. We got a 3-drop. 4 health, 4 melee with stomp. It's infantry, not a beast. Only 1 range. It says at the end of your turn, give +1 to all beasts in your hand. So hand buff, another new idea, new mechanic. Did you play Gwent?
Yeah, I remember the hand buff.
Yeah. You could do well. I think there was a Nilfgaard hand buff and a Scoia'tael hand buff. But Scoia'tael were really big for it. But anyway, what do you think to this card?
Yeah, good. I mean, I like that the effect you're always getting 1 proc of this no matter what. It doesn't need to survive the whole turn, so you're getting like guaranteed value plus the threat of more value if it lives. Which probably won't, but if it, your opponent's like not gonna, you can't ignore it. Yeah, stats not great. I mean, to be honest, when you're getting that guaranteed hand buff, I mean, the stats are like fine. I mean, they're good. I mean, it's good stats minus the range.
Yeah. I think with the one range attack, I think if you're playing it on 3, you can get away with it. You know, they're probably gonna have to attack with 2 things to clear it. And like you say, you've already got that buff, and that buff, if that buff is to melee and its other stomp units, that's increasing your beatdown, isn't it?
Yeah. When you're putting that on a nice unit, then giving yourself more value later on. Like I think really gonna be really good in a beast deck.
I don't know. I think you will need to max out the beasts for this guy to be good, because I can imagine like hands where, like infinite biomorphologies in Tyrannies is such a goddamn good card, but still sometimes when you're going first, you think, okay, I can play this turn 1, but there's only like, and if I've got a stratagem in my hand, you might only have 1 or 2 other units. It could be a similar thing where you're like, okay, I gave +1 melee to 1 beast, whoopee-doo. So I do think there might even be an argument that you only run 1 copy and that you play it, rather than play it as a tempo on 3, you time it more. But I don't know. We're just going to have to test it, aren't we, and see how useful it feels. But I'm so happy we've got some hand buff stuff in there. I really, really like that.
Yeah, first time it's coming in.
Squighog boy, this guy just keeps growing on me the more I look at it. I think this is a great card. What do you think?
Yeah, I know in your reveal video you're saying like, oh, which should you run, Snazwagon or this? And I think this is basically just a better card than Snazwagon. It's got better, yeah, better stats. It's just the flanks are a little bit more awkward to get. Is the only downside, but like 646, that's like proactive unit stats. That's not like flank unit stats. If you know what I mean. Um, so yeah, I mean you can put it out proactively or give it flank. You kind of fine either way. I mean, four range is like it's on a 6-4 flank. I mean, it's like pretty good. I mean, obviously wants to trade melee, but like if if something has quite poor range, then it's still an option.
I hate to bring him up again, but you know, young Makari, like making this thing 7 as well. You know, it's like gas ability 8. You know, or drawing it off of Gruk. I tell you a card I really think I'm gonna play with some of these stomp decks. I think the Tide of Muscle card could be a card that you play, because especially if you're going in with like low curve beatdown, you might just run out of cards, and then the combination of then drawing in the later game, drawing 2, and it being stomp, gaining the +1, that'll. I think Tide of Muscle might actually be pretty good in these stomp decks.
Yeah, I guess in regular Tide, it's always like the War Biker that you really want to hit with Tide and Muscle, but if you got a bunch of Stomp units in, then all your Stomp units are doing a little bit more burn if you hit them get them with Tide and Muscle. So yeah, I can see being good. And obviously, yeah, good with this guy coming out with 7 melee, potentially two or 3 of them if you've managed to like discount them.
Young Makari 8. Oh my lord.
Yeah.
Great card. I'm gonna say that I think this is like, for me, this is a card that's probably like a solid 4. You know, like I feel like it's just like it's difficult to give it 5 because there will be decks where it just won't have flank often.
Yeah, I mean sometimes with Snazwagon like E10, it can be quite useful to get that second flanger off, whereas this one's gonna have because it's so well statted, it might actually be quite awkward to give the second one flank unless you're just charging it into like one big unit. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think this is gonna take the place of Snaggas, I think, in most cases.
Another fun one to try. Can't wait. And then we got the Hunt is on. Now, I was quite not down on it, but I wasn't necessarily like singing the praises of this card, let's say, when I revealed it. But as people have pointed out, yes, it's only 2 damage. Yes, it's only 1 unit that gains flank. And when you look at it in a vacuum, the value of those 2 things adding up to 3, it's like, meh, it's okay. We've got similar things already in the game. But the biggest thing is, it says the next beast you play gains flank. So it's the point people have been making is that it's not this turn, it can delay.
Yeah, it carries over to the next turn.
And that is powerful. So
yeah, that's always been the problem with the flank cards is it's so awkward to fit them in, but because you're playing this the turn before, it kind of avoids that problem.
Yeah. So I think it's actually quite a good card. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think very strong. Yeah, I mean, I think it's nice because the 2 damage is like helping you out a little bit this turn, but obviously the main thing you're wanting is the flank on the next turn.
And that's Squig off setup with this.
Yeah, I mean that would be the dream setup.
Yeah, it's gonna be so good.
I suppose in like a full-on beast deck, it might actually be a little bit awkward because if you're only running like a handful of beasts, you know, like the Squigoths or whatever, then you can kind of like just save this effect for whenever you want. But if you're running a full beast deck, then you might have things you don't want to get flanked to. Yeah, maybe there's more the kind of like combo where you control side of the beast cards rather than just putting it in like a tempo kind of beast deck.
I still wonder whether I'd ultimately play it over Crump Gates, but I can understand, obviously now with that carryover, where this is better than Crump. So it just, again, it really depends on the kind of thing you're building. Yeah, if you're wanting to get flanking Squigoffs, this is better. But you know, if you're sort of creating these go wide boards and all that, then probably playing Crump is a better idea.
Yeah.
So that is it. I think that's every card. Let me just check. Yeah, so we've gone through every card. So I mean, overall, I think like the power level of the expansion and the quality of the cards, like there's very few. I think we said there was one card that we'd give a 1 as unplayable. So
Yeah, just
quite
the
impressive.
anti-armor card,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything else is good.
Yeah, so quite an impressive expansion, isn't it? In terms of both fun and card design, and it looks powerful. The question is, if is it too powerful? And it may well be, but I'm quite excited about this expansion. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean the cards are definitely on a definitely on a higher level than the current Orc cards and than a lot of the card pool, but I don't, I really like that they've you're gonna be able to play multiple archetypes. I think that's the really fun thing to come out of the expansion. Like there isn't, it's not like a reinforcements where there's like, okay, there's 8 cards, 5 of them are a bit crap, and there's 2 of them that you put in every deck. Whereas this is like a lot of cards, but you're not gonna put them in every deck. There's gonna be like quite a few decks that you can build around
Yeah,
um with the new cards.
totally. And we've got all
Yeah.
these pre-existing art decks as well that you can just go back to and go like, what was this deck trying to do? How do you enhance that now with the new cards?
Yeah, so like with like gas fatigue, like instead of fatigue, you have the squig off as your win condition, which is I think probably a bit more fun for everyone. Um,
Can you imagine like that's you just take someone's fatigue and then your last card you drops a squig off.
I don't want to imagine. I want to do it.
I don't think there's going to be any fatigue with that. I think, yeah, Squigoff's just going to come down and win the game, isn't it? If they haven't got the removal,
Yeah, I think.
you know.
Yeah, I think it's definitely. Yeah, there's gonna be some really cool decks. I think you can build out of all the new cards.
You know the biggest problem with Squigoff though, don't you?
Um, no.
Everybody's going to be playing Orkz this season, which means no mucking about. Will of Gore.
Okay. Well, I've been thinking about with the deck building. I think my plan is to put the 6-drop legendary concussive, the 8-drop vanguard, then 2 squiggers, and I don't know. Hopefully they just can't hard remove everything.
And then you've got the 7-drop Pain Boy to bring the guy back, the Squigoff back after they're mucking about it.
Yeah. Well, either that or run the 5-drop concussives because I don't know. Like I reckon if you're in Orcs and someone drops a concussive 5-drop, like you're gonna be really tempted to just like no mucking about it. It's just like such a hassle. But I think that's either like it's either like put the 5-drop concussives in or like put the pain boss in for when they do hard remove the first squig off.
I think the gas control as well. You should run the double tides again, which is a tech that was in the gas control for a long time until it really did go to fatigue, and then you were like, well, we don't want to draw cards because then we risk fatiguing before our opponent. But just before that fatigue idea came in, the gas control was running double tides, and I think you would run that again if you were running like Squigoff, or at least.
Problem is all these new cards come in. It's going to be so awkward to fit the Titan muscle, and there's going to be so many cards you're going to want to put in.
It's crazy, isn't it?
I worry about maybe with the stomp mechanic. I wonder if you're going to get to a point in the late game where you just like refuse to put units down so you don't get like stomped to death. So imagine like if you're playing like gas control into like scrag bad stomp tempo or whatever. In the late game, you're probably going to be looking at your talent and be like, I'm just not going to play it out because he's just going to flank it with stomp and like do like a crap load of damage to me.
Well, the good news is we have not got long to find out. If you're listening to this, the chances are the expansion will be live. We're recording this the night before it goes out, so we will have our hands on the cards very, very soon. So yeah, Slither, thanks very much, mate. Great to go through some initial impressions with you. And
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be wrong on like a bunch of them in hindsight.
Yeah, of course.
But,
These are just initial thoughts, guys. So take it with a pinch of salt. Let us know in the comments what you guys think. And yeah, I'm actually going to be away for a couple of weeks. It's bad timing for content. But I will definitely be playing lots of Orkz. Just won't be able to make too much content. But I'll be deck building and refining stuff.
yeah, this loser will be like hanging out on the beach while all the cool kids are playing Warpforge.
Exactly. Sucks, doesn't it? Sucks to be a beach geek.
Yeah, I know you have a good time, mate.
Tanning my beer belly. In the rain. It is the UK beach. No, so I think it's really fun, man. I'm way more pumped for this than the reinforcements. So super happy that we're going to do it. And I don't really fully understand a lot of the expand because it's a new thing. So it'll be cool to just figure that out and collect some stuff. So thanks for watching, guys. Hit that thumbs up below. Let us know what you think in the comments. And I will see you when I get back from my holidays. Ciao for now. Thanks, Slither.
No worries.